people pleasing and avoiding that conflict and feeling like when you express and speak up, that's a problem. Something to really dive deep into as well. And then some big lessons I've learned that I want to share, and then we'll talk about the 3 key strategies. I think all of what I'm sharing now really will bring, the meat and potatoes of those 3 key strategies to life. And so in that shift of going from talker to communicator, there were some lessons and some aha moments. And one of them was learning to pause and listen and speak with intention. I did a Instagram reel about this the other day of, you want to get better at communicating, try not talking. Just don't say anything. And really the power of meditation in that, right? Our ability to be in the present moment, listen, pause, take it in. Meditation is so helpful for that because it keeps us in the present moment, not in the familiar past and not in this predictable future based on our past experiences, right? It's not about listening so you can think about what you're going to say next in the future, or it's not about listening and then, thinking about all the past stories of communication and ways that things didn't work out and why this is going to not work out in terms of conversation, right? There's so many important parts to communication. And one of them is really listening. And so if you're not meditating and you think meditation is just to calm your mind and reduce stress, it's to teach you how to come back to the present moment, which is huge when it comes to communication and conversation. And then a couple other really big pillars in what I coach and teach and what's changed my life are neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, the modality of coaching that I use, and also nonviolent communication. And I think what's most important about those 2, because those could totally be episodes on themselves. In fact, Aubrey and I did an episode just on nonviolent communication. I'll link that in the show notes. But those 2 can be 2 powerful episodes on their own. But NLP just really helps with us understanding the program, understanding that there is a program that is running, right? Based on everything in your childhood, all the things passed on to you, the way that you're showing up, communicating, the way that conversations are going or not going, all of that is a program that we have an opportunity to change that program with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, the brain. Neuro-linguistic, the words that we're saying to ourselves and to others, and programming, right? Change your words, change your world. That is NLP and a huge component of the way that I coach and the way that I live, and nonviolent communication as well. Another really, really good book, Nonviolent Communication, that you'll just love to dive into. Those 4 components of nonviolent communication have shifted my ability to be present. And when we are present and we're deciding, okay, how do I want to hear? And then how do I want to speak? It's nice to have these filters that we can go through. And nonviolent communication really provides that. And then the other thing I wrote down was, I often will say it's about connection over convincing. It's about clarity over explaining. Less is more, right? It's about that deep connection from the words, not what we're saying, not about getting our point across. It's about having the clarity in who we want to be and what we want to bring to each and every conversation because we're present in the moment to do that, right? So with that being said, let's tap into those 3 strategies, 3 key strategies to develop strong communication skills. The first one is know your core values. In order to speak from a space of what truly matters to you, you need to know what truly matters to you. And you need to know who you want to be, how you know when you're being it, how you know when you're not being it, and when it's time to set a boundary. You need to know who you want to be, right? Things happen to us, things come into our sphere, right? And we have to choose and decide how we're going to happen back, how we're going to respond, overreact. Well, it's easy to react when you don't know your values and you're not sure about who you want to be. It's much easier to respond when you have that framework that you created that says, this is who I want to be. These are my core values. This is how I'm going to show up, right? So Speak from that place of value. Speak from that place of what truly matters to you. That's the first one. Number 2 is practice assertiveness, not aggressive communication, and understanding the nuances between being assertive and advocating for yourself, and being aggressive and trying to get your way and speaking from a place of trauma and reaction, right? And finding that balance. Recently, I was chatting with a team member and we were talking about what we might say in a particular situation. And I had a way of saying it. And she responded of like, oh, well, that's assertive. And I remember thinking like, okay, well then, what's something more from your voice that you might say things differently, or tweak what I said into something that's more your voice. But then I was thinking too of like, what's wrong with assertive, right? What's the story that you tell yourself about assertiveness, right? Can we be assertive and also kind, right? Like, just thought about that a little bit, right? And assertive is going to look different on everyone, right? I love working with people and hearing their voice and the way they communicate and some of the different nuances of that, because assertive can, look different. The tonality of assertiveness, the verbiage, the word choice of assertiveness gets to look different depending on everybody, right? Because your voice, maybe the way you use it, and your voice is an instrument. And so sometimes assertive sounds different, and assertive can sound confident and sexy and knowledgeable and wise. It doesn't have to be demanding and overbearing. And, right? We all have these stories of what we think that might mean. So number 2 is really practicing that assertiveness, that speaking your truth, advocating, but then not being aggressive, right? Still being open to other people's points of view. Huge. And then the last point of the 3 key strategies. So we have know your core values, practice assertiveness and not aggression. And then the third one is use the power of silence and presence. Like I said before, listening is just as important as speaking. And being present in the conversation helps people feel heard, right? If you were in a situation where you were having a conversation with somebody and opening up your heart and sharing, and you just felt like they were, just hearing you, but not listening and just like saying whatever afterwards, it's nice to know that someone's there in the present moment with you. They're not on their phone. They're not thinking about something else. Their body language is positioned in a way that's like, hey, I'm listening. I'm present with you. And yeah, it's listening is super powerful. And I think a lot of the courses I've taught and a lot of what I coach on communication wise has to do with what words you are saying and what words you might be saying on stage or giving a presentation to your team, or what words you might be saying when approaching somebody you want to have a tough conversation with. And the not words are huge too. And what you're not saying and the way that you are listening and taking that in is so powerful to think about. But yeah, those are the three strategies. Know your core values, assertiveness over aggression, and using that power of silence and presence. Highly recommend meditation when it comes to that. But yeah, I hope you took some value from this episode, right? Maybe you're prompted to ask yourself or kind of investigate a little bit, like, where am I stuck? Where am I holding back a little bit? What are those repeat patterns of things that I'm starting to notice around communication that I want to get to the root cause of, and I want to change, and I want to, just evolve past, right? I'm trying to think of if there was anything else I wanted to share, but that was pretty much it. I just wanted to share a bit more of where I come from in that space and what's helped me a lot, and help you have some key strategies and points that will help you in this journey that we call life, because we're around other people. We're talking to ourselves. We're talking to others. And then on April 12th, there is a free 2-hour masterclass on Zoom that I'm hosting with Aubrey Pohl. She's a close friend of mine. We coach together a lot. And she's a master NLP practitioner. She coaches, and teaches for so many next level communicators, and she's an amazing speaker and communicator. And we're hosting a Communicate with Confidence masterclass on April 12th from 11 to 1 Mountain Standard Time on Zoom. It's absolutely free. We're going to be covering the 5 pillars to help you unleash your voice. And yeah, it'll be really awesome. So I'll link that in the show notes as well. We would love to see you there on Zoom. And I don't know if you can hear that noise, but there's a little jingle that's playing because my sheets are in the dryer and they're done drying, which coincides perfectly with the end of this episode. So I'm just going to finish tidying things up around my house and doing my laundry and changing my sheets. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Give me your reflections. Join our Communicate with Confidence masterclass, and we'll see you at the next one. Later.